Hi all and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to be covering how to change the front brake pads on a Toyota MR2 MK3 or MR2 Roadster or MR2 Spyder depending on where you are in the world. So in this video I do only change my front brake pads, but I will show you how to change the disc as well, as it's only a few extra steps. This is also my first video of this kind, so please let me know if there's anything I can do better. I did actually make a very amateur mistake, which is that I recorded everything in portrait orientation. So when you watch the video, it might be a bit too small for your screen, but hopefully there's still enough information in here that will help some of you out. So first thing, I'll just show the torque settings for that you'll need for this job. I'll flash them up on the screen now for a few seconds. So these are the front brake pads that I'll be fitting. This EBC yellow stuff. This part number, as you can see, I know these cause a bit of controversy. Some people really like them, some people don't. I suggest you sort of try them for yourself, see if you like them. I use the car mainly on the road and a little bit of track, so these are a good balance for what I need. They do come with this red bedding coating, as you can see. So do take it easy on them for the first 200 mils or so, and they should bed in nicely. First, grab your breaker bar 21mm socket and just loosen all the wheel nuts before you lift up the car. So I'm going to be jacking up the front using the front jacking point that you get on the Toyota MR2. So I'm just trying to show you where it is. It's like a horseshoe shape, and I'm just going to put the center of my jack pad right on the horseshoe to lift the car up. And then once you've lifted it up, I've placed two jack stands either side. So I've got these jack stands with a ratchet and a pin that I like to use, so you get an extra sort of point of safety. And then I've done the same on the other side. And there you can see where the jack is. Probably a slightly better view of where you can see where I've jacked up from. Obviously, when you do this, do make sure your wheels are chocked, as I've got here. I do actually have the handbrake on and the car's in gear, just in case. But yeah, so once you've got the wheels off, you'll be able to see the caliper. So just turn the wheels to so the caliper's outboard, so you get a bit more room. And then first things first is undo the bolts for the brake hose. So it's a 12mm socket, so I'm just undoing there. Or 12mm spanner, I should say. So once that's out, you can wiggle the brake hose free. I actually did it now, but I would probably suggest leaving it in and then letting the brake hose move when you move the caliper off the pads. So now you've done that, there's these two bolts that you need to undo for the guide pin bolts. So again, it's a 12mm spanner that you'll need to undo it, and then it'll be a 14mm to hold the other side of the guide pin so it doesn't spin whilst you undo those two bolts. So go ahead and pop those off. So once you've got those off, what you'll be able to do is the caliper should be free. If not, do give it a wiggle. It should be relatively free. And then I've just popped it off and moved it off to the side. And obviously, do rest your caliper on something. Do not let it hang on the brake hose. So once you've done that, you should be able to slide the pads out fairly easily. Again, I've only done these recently, so they're not too stuck. But the back one needed a bit of encouragement, so I did that off camera. See, that one's just a bit tight, but it should be okay. And then to take a disc off, what you'll need to do is there's two bolts that hold the carrier on there. I'm just showing you behind there. So these are, both of them are 17mm sockets, and they are on quite tight. I think it's 109 Newton meters to hold those on, so you probably will need a brake bar to break those loose. So next is to undo your brake fluid reservoir to push the caliper back into its position. So that I'm just loosening the cap, so there's no pressure sort of on the system. And then I've got one of these caliper rewind tools, so and I'm turning the caliper clockwise back into its position. But so once you've done that, make sure that your guide pins are loose and free. Do re-grease them if you need to. But I replaced mine recently, so I know they were okay. Next thing I was doing was taking off this hardware for the pads. Again, check the condition of yours, and just give the caliper a bit of a clean, just to make sure there's no brake dust or residue, whatever, on the parts you'll be putting the new metal clips on. So I've got a new pair there that I got from Frentech on eBay. It did actually come with some grease for the guide pins, which is quite handy if you need to re-grease your pins. So once you've done that, get the you'll be able to get the pads ready. So what I'm doing there is the pad with the wear indicator goes on the back of the disc, if you like. So obviously closest to the piston, as obviously the inner pad will wear a little bit more than your outer pad. And just put a little bit of copper grease on the ears where the pad will be in contact with where the pad will be sliding in the caliper. You can see there's the wear indicator that's on the inner pad. And just make sure you've got these anti-squeal shims fitted. Different pads will come with different shims. These ones were like this, look like this. Next thing I'm just going to clean up the face of the disc. As you can see, I actually put a little nut on the disc to keep it in place. Once you've done that, you'll be able to put the caliper back on and then refit the bolts. I would suggest getting new bolts and new guide pins if you haven't replaced them in the past. Just for peace of mind more than anything. And then just make sure that your anti-squeal shims stay in place as you're tightening up. It can be a bit fiddly, but just persevere with it. Then the caliper guide bolts, there are 34 Newton meters, as you can see there. So just tighten them up. And the next thing will be the bolt for the brake hose, which is 29 Newton meters. So again, just torque that up. One thing I should mention is when you refit the caliper, make sure your the hose is put back into the right place. And then you're done. So before you put the wheel back on, just put some copper grease on the face of the disc with the wheel contact. It will make it easier to remove next time. And then pop the wheel back on, and then make sure to torque it down once you load the car, and obviously repeat the caliper procedure on the other side, and that's it. You'll be done. So yeah, the wheels torque up to 103 Newton meters, just the Toyota spec for that. And yeah, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe for more content. Thanks very much.